There's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes.
I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing, but there's a reason. I don't like Facebook, and I don't like the internet. The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
This is absolutely lit. This is lit, 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 lit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. Please don't leave. You guessed it. I'm your little host, Dark Match Steve. Welcome to the show. Don't mind me. I'm packing a bong. It's the only way we're going to make it through the stream tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I suggest you pack your own. Smoke it if you got it, you fucking junkie. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How we doing? What's up, guys? It was shoulder day today. How about that? How's the shoulders looking? Still too thin. I need to gain some more muscle mass, but yeah, shoulder day. Ooh, check it out. Oh, dang. Look at that. Look at that. I think that's dislocated, actually. That don't look healthy. Oh, damn. Oh, just some of these. Oh, just some of these. Earn some of these off. Oh. Did you guys do any of those today? Hold on. Bong's almost packed. Here we go. It is CBD THCA gas station bath salt buds, completely legal and healthy. So that's that. What are we getting into tonight, guys? It's going to get a little interesting. We got a lot of stuff to get to here, so I'm not going to dilly-dally too much, okay? We're going to get this bong packed. We're going to say hello to the chat, and then we're going to get started, okay? Because there's a lot to get to here. We got Charlie Kirk's cameraman speaks out against Erika Kirk. I'm not sure how much of this interview we're going to take a look at. I'm intrigued. I want more context than the clips that are going around. There's like one clip that's just over a minute where this guy, I guess it's probably the most, suspicious sounding clip segment from this interview that is going around. I'd like a little bit more context. I don't know if we're going to have time to get into the full deal tonight. I think this, at least the video associated with this interview, and what's this guy's name? Mitchell something, right? Hold on a second. I got it in the caption, I think. Mitchell Manley. So it's, I guess, the Black Line Brief, which sounds like a kind of underwear or something. It just sounds weird to me. It sounds like you're talking about Fruit of the Looms or Calvin Klein's or something. But Black Line Brief did an interview with this guy who is the, recently ex-cameraman of Charlie Kirk. And this, if I'm understanding correctly, and I even got a fact check from Grok that talks about this, because there are some people that have been a little bit dismissive of this, and they're acting like this is some disgruntled ex-employee or something that worked for Charlie Kirk once and then now thinks that they, can get some clicks off of talking shit about Erika Kirk. Apparently, this guy actually was a cameraman for Charlie Kirk for a long time. And this guy apparently has come out saying something against Erika Kirk. I've taken a glimpse at the 1 minute clip. I don't think I've even watched it all the way through. Truly, you guys know how I'll find something. I'm like, okay, let's get into this, because I saw a lot of people reposting this. So I thought we should take a look at it. I found the full video, saved that. We might skim through some of that and see what the context is of this moment when he starts to talk about Erika Kirk. But besides that, we've got a bunch of other stuff to take a look at with the Tyler Robinson case. And this is the newest evidence disputing the Tyler Robinson case. I'm not saying that this is proof that he did not do it or anything like that. But we're going to take a look at some interesting stuff. And I told you guys, I looked some stuff up myself. And, this is the thing. You guys know sometimes how I can get heated with stuff. Now, listen. Listen, guys, I know I get out of hand sometimes, but when for the most part, when I'm interacting with people on Twitter and discussing this case and debating it, I normally match energy. That's what I like to do, because, I actually want the conversation to go somewhere. And so when I get into a conversation with somebody, if somebody that believes the Fed slop says something and I respond to them, I don't off the bat go, "Hey, retard! Hey, you fucking retard!" I don't start off like that. It sometimes inevitably gets to that, okay? You guys know me. I like to use that word a lot. Probably too much. Okay, but I normally match energy. When someone if it seems like someone that's a proponent of the Fed slop theory wants to have a conversation and just wants to get across their point and the evidence, I'll go back and forth with them and we'll have a good conversation. And then, it's weird though, because they're few and far between when it comes to the people that are proponents of the Fed slop that are willing to just have a calm conversation where we can just say, they'll say one thing to me and I'll go, You know what? That's not crazy to say that. I get what you're saying, but this is why we have a problem with that, is because of this, and this. And it's conversations like that are rare. And I don't know. We got a lot of stuff to get to. I'm gonna cut the open monologue short here a little bit, but I've been having lots of convos. Let's take a look, because one of the things that I'm going to show you guys is part of a conversation that I had discussing the stuff with the car. Okay. And I did a little bit of research myself, did a couple Google searches, and I was shocked because I was like, man, the car, I think it's a match. I don't know anything about the spoilers, the exhaust things, and all of this shit. But I was like, you know what? I think at this point, I don't even want to fight anymore, whether it's a match or not. It seems like what we're seeing on the video, it's just like hard to tell. It's like, I don't even want to argue this point. But I saw people discussing it, and then I just went and looked something up myself. So I got to show you guys how that conversation progressed and how it stopped. Okay. Because like I said, guys, I'll be able to show you evidence of this, that, if someone starts talking down to me, I'll pull the R word out. I can't resist it. But if someone seems like they want to have a genuine conversation about it, I am down. I'm interested. I'm not hiding away. I'm not hiding myself from evidence or my viewers or, the public. Maybe not people that are, constant viewers of the show. I'm not trying to hide any of the evidence. I want to see it myself, and I want to make an informed decision, as informed as possible decision about the case. I don't know why I care so much, but it is what it is. So, and I'm hoping people from the other side were a little bit more open to hearing some of the arguments from us. I mean, it's not like, I don't know. It seems funny to me how the Jack Posobiec said there are people that have actually lied and misrepresented stuff to push an agenda with this. And look, if you guys really think you got it in the bag, I don't know what the point is of lying and pretending you have a 4K video of Tyler Robinson giggling while he took the shot and you could see the sweat dripping down his face. I don't know why you guys have to lie about that. Seems a little weird. If you actually think that the evidence is there, it seems like you wouldn't just lie about stuff. But anyway, let me get to the chat, say hello to everybody, and we'll get started here. Where are we? Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, also known as X. If you're autistic and addicted to ketamine, wherever you're at, get them in the chat so I can verbally abuse you. Let me get you guys up here. Platow, we're going to get rid of this banner. If you don't know where you are by now, okay. Let me see here. Okay, I'm up in the chat. I'm balls deep in the chat already. God dang. Kenny Powers up in here. What's up, Kenny? Thank God we got a mod up in here. What's up? What's up? Johnny Z's up in here. I see the algos have cursed me tonight. Thank you. Thank you for fucking nothing. Butter Knives up in here. Dang, DMS never covers Charlie Kirk. I wonder if he will finally entertain the idea of a conspiracy. True. Fat Pig's up in here. What's up, Fat Pig? Welcome. Hutch is up in here. Promo's up in here. What's up, Promo? Guys, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining. YouTube's chat larger than normal? I don't know. Let me look on my phone. I don't know. Maddie P's up in here. What's up, Maddie? Welcome, welcome. Brian from Philly's up in here. What's up, sir? Welcome. Good to see you. Funny Face up in here. What's up, Funny? DMS on that 7-0. Yeah. You guys, I've been thinking about trying some 7-0. Two black kids with a podcast? Not on my watch. Okay. Where do we want to get started, guys? Fukushima. Should I hit this bong first? Is that what we're going to do first? All right. All right. There we go. It's too bright. Okay, so let's go over here. Oh, man, I got so much shit saved. Okay, let me get this up. So, where should we go first? Should we check the interview thing first? So we got Candace Owens clips. I got stuff from Baron Coleman, right? That's that guy's name. Sasha Baron Coleman. Oh, I got to get that there too. Shh. Shiza. Okay, so... Oh, fuck, man. I'm sorry. I pulled something up and I'm seeing memes. I'm seeing the memes, guys. Okay. So let's go over here. I guess we'll go over to Twitter first. Okay, so actually, this will be a good point to start. So I actually wanted to get into some of this. I think it was last week. Some of this stuff I have saved from last week, and we weren't able to revisit the topic to really go over this. So let's take a look at these first, and then we will look at the interview with the cameraman. Okay, sorry. It started playing. Okay. Let's go over here. Twitter. Sorry, I had Twitter pulled up, and then you guys know how it is. It sends you to different tabs now with the update. I complain about it every single night. You guys should know by now. You know what I'm talking about, right? On your phone, it looks different. You know what? I don't know. I can't. You're making me overthink it, but I don't think so. I think it looks normal on my phone. Promo. Okay, so this is from. Where is this from? There's been a bunch of people that have been discussing this. There's a bunch of stuff that I wish we could get to. So let's take a look at this first. This is the thing about the vertebra. He's talking about the vertebras. Bruh.
Up and down, because that's not how he was sitting. So what we're saying is that even though this bullet is coming at around a 10-degree downward angle, if it just lodged into T1, okay, that makes perfect sense. But what we're also saying is that somehow a
bullet crashed through C2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Folks, that is nuts to me, because we have a downward angle. So that's not just changing the direction by 90 degrees. It's more than 90 degrees. And that doesn't make sense to me. So not only did we have this round basically enter below his Adam's apple and hit C2, C3, C4, and C5, and then also hit T1, but we also had bullet fragments go downward and potentially decimate his heart. From a ballistics and physics standpoint, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me if we're dealing with that. Now, going back to what he also said regarding soft point or full metal jacket.
Also, near T1, but not next to the bullet, were multiple fragments of the bullet. Now, a full metal jacket 30-06 round would have gone right through Charlie, would have gone right through the bone of Charlie. A soft point 30-06 would likely have mushroomed, but caused massive amounts of damage, which we didn't see. We also know for a fact, no bullet left his body. There was no blood spray, no blood spatter, and no hole in the banner behind him.
So I completely agree with that. Nothing that we're seeing here can be explained by a full metal jacket round, a soft tip hunting round, and then the fact that we do not have an exit wound is one of the most inexplicable, with a 30-06, is one of the most inexplicable parts of this entire case. And of course, that has been talked about ad nauseum, right? We've covered it here. Thousands of other people have covered it. We see ballistic tests. None of that makes sense. It's one of the most inexplicable portions of this entire situation. There's no doubt about it. Now, I do think there are a couple options here that can explain, if this is true, that can explain this, and we're going to jump into that. All right, folks, so I'm back there editing this.
You know, one thing that you can take away, if nothing else, you know, this is like, how do I put this? It's like either we have to agree that this is the most unlikely scenario ever, and that the Fed slop theory is bullshit, or we all have to agree that every single brand of ballistics gel is completely useless and does not represent reality whatsoever. Right? It's one or the other, because we can't have every single ballistic test, every single ballistic dummy that someone shoots into with any kind of a 30-06 round whatsoever, and it goes through and through, no matter what the fuck. And then you could go through ballistic gel plus a fucking a pork shoulder behind it and a cinder block, and it just goes through all of it. We have to agree that ballistic gel is completely useless, or this is not what it appears to be. Right? They can't both be true. It can't be every time you shoot a 30-06 with ballistic gel, it fucking decimates it. Anything in the shape, relative, in any way relatable to the makeup of the anatomy of a human body, ballistic gel that's supposed to be accurate to that. And every single test makes it look impossible that Charlie Kirk was hit with a 30-06. So either all the ballistic gel is bullshit, and every single one of those companies, they're just rip-off artists, and they're just selling you adult what Play-Doh, basically. It's just bullshit. Or, yeah, no, that's what it is, actually. Okay, so do you have any evidence, Steve? Evidence of what? What do you want evidence of?
Video, and we're a little over 10 minutes in, and it's going to be much longer. I'm going over some very technical stuff to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to end up releasing that as a second part. This is not meant to be a cliffhanger or anything else. We're just talking about, you know, at least another 20-30 minutes of video to really go through what I'm talking about. And I'll just tell you straight up, the only thing that makes sense to me that explains the physics, the ballistics, the description and mechanism of injury, everything that's going on with where bullet fragments ended up, is a combination of ballistic protection and frangible ammunition. That combination is really the only plausible explanation why we have bullet fragments going all the way up to, again, the C2, going all the way down to the heart, and still not having any sort of exit wound. And you can see on this clip right here, I really do believe that what we're looking at is a ballistic panel that is preventing the exit of a round. And in this video, besides the fact that I think it's pretty clear evidence that some ballistic panels were preventing an exit wound, I think this also just clearly proves that there was no other shot coming from any other direction. I mean, the ballistics and the physics that we're observing here can only be explained by a shot to the front. It does not prove that Tyler Robinson is the one that took that shot. But again, just like I said early on, you know, what we're witnessing here clearly rules out any shot that's coming from, you know, his 4 o'clock or from the side or anything like that. We see, number one, an impact that is clearly.
Yeah, so that's interesting, guys, because remember what I played for you, when was this? Last week? I played for you the video that I found where the guy shows that when you shoot above the shirt, and this is what I was saying, I was praying that someone eventually would do this out on, you know, an outside shooting range, is set up some kind of ballistic gel dummy with an actual shirt on and a necklace. Because for the longest time, I was thinking, the Mike theory, which, guys, I don't know about the Mike theory. I've been sort of like on and off with it. And I think the video that I initially posted the day after Kirk was, he lost his life, where it seemed to show a projectile coming from the back. I think I'm like back on board with that after this guy showed, because initially I thought that was the case until it became clear that was his necklace that snapped and flew behind him like that. It snapped in the front around here, oddly enough, where the mic was. Oh, I almost puked. And then it went back. Oh, White Ice Tea's up in here. What's up, bro? Truth. What's up, guys? Welcome. Fake blood packs. You think so? Saying I believe is not evidence. I'm asking you evidence of what? What do you want evidence of? I'm asking you, and you won't even tell me because you have no idea what you're in here arguing against. You are lost. Bro is lost in my chat. Welcome anyway. We're glad to have you. Just smash some of the buttons. You can smash the thumbs down button if you want. That's fine. Okay. So anyway, this guy, I was praying someone would do this with the shirt and the necklace because I couldn't explain the necklace. That's what I was getting at, and I got digressed a little bit from Pete up in the chat. The necklace snapping and the movement of the shirt, I just couldn't really explain. And in my head, I was going, I could kind of see if someone was shot just above the line of the shirt, that the air, that it could actually cause the shirt to blow like that. I thought it was possible, but the necklace breaking, I could not make sense of. But this guy showed that when Scott Starboard's up in here. What's up, sir? Thank you for showing up. Glad you could make it, even though you couldn't stream. Sorry, bro. They're working our boy to death. So I couldn't explain the necklace breaking, but this guy showed in this video when he shot above the neck. Now, he doesn't think it was Tyler Robinson, and he doesn't think the bullet came in at the angle that they're claiming. But his demonstration does show, and Pete, if you want to see it, I can pull it back up again, guys. This guy, Pete, doesn't really want to see evidence. He's literally just like, he just wants to talk shit. But if you guys really wanted to see again, if anybody missed it from last week, we showed the video that someone had a ballistic gel dummy shaped like a person and put a shirt and a chain on it. And when they shot above the neck with a 30-06, it caused the necklace to break. And it caused the shirt to blow up like that. But he doesn't think it was Tyler Robinson. And also the round did not stay in the ballistic gel, guys. Of course, it didn't. So, but it was interesting. And I feel like that leans more towards my theory initially that the bullet came from the back. And what we're seeing is an exit wound in the front. And it's because it's a shot that exits just above the collar of his shirt and probably comes in around his hairline, still pretty close to the collar in the back, and it just makes the shirt fluff up. And part of the reason that it does that, this guy explained, why would Tyler's parents both say it was him? How do you know they said it was him? Do you know that his grandparents said that he was set up, right, Pete? Do you have a recording or like actual like evidence that they said it was him? And how would they know that it was him? You understand why this is like we can contest all the evidence because it's all so like shaky and weird. Who the fuck cares that his parents even what they said? What if my parents said I did it? What the fuck would that even prove? It doesn't mean anything. Like, the evidence should speak for itself. Someone saying someone else did it. I did it. I already told you guys, I killed Charlie Kirk. I just admitted to it. It was me, guys. So that's how I know it wasn't Tyler. You want the reason why I know it wasn't Tyler's? Because I did it. Okay? All right, let's go over here. Hold on a second. Let's check out this. I don't know why this guy responded to the Charlie Kirk backlash. So I guess this guy got some backlash for reporting on the Kirk case. Charlie Kirk didn't have a porcelain armor. Contaminated lettuce creates colon blows. You're telling me that Bubba could have saved money on colon blows this whole time and just eaten contaminated lettuce? Yeah, Charlie Kirk didn't have a body plate on. This was like confirmed way in the beginning. The sheriff said so himself. That was in what was the News Nation reported that. They've already confirmed he didn't have any kind of body armor on. That was like, you guys remember how this has progressed? Everyone likes to pretend that the conspiracy people have shifted the goalpost and, oh, look how you've changed your theories. Look how Candace Owens has had to walk back some stuff and this, and that. Do you guys remember that you all said that it bounced off of a bulletproof vest? That's how you guys made sense of the bullet entering like that, looking like that as an entrance wound and staying in his neck. You guys remember when you all said that that's why it was possible? And then you guys had to walk that back because it was proven he did not have a vest because you could see his fucking nipples through his shirt and the sheriff confirmed he didn't have a vest on? You guys remember that? Are we all keeping score fairly? Because I don't want it to be we all just talk about what Candace Owens had to walk back when you guys have been saying all kinds of crazy bullshit and have had to change the story. He has magical bones and all this now because they just proved the vest. The vest got debunked, and the best you guys could come up with was Charlie Kirk had magic bones that stopped the bullet. He saved everybody. It was a miracle that he died. It was a miracle. God wanted it to happen. That's the best you guys could come up with. Absolutely pathetic. Okay. Listen, my theory doesn't involve Jesus's bones. I at least got that going for me. Okay, let's check this out.
Case. This is something he has looked into since he was 15 years old before he was ever involved in forensics or death investigations because he's from New Orleans. And New Orleans obviously is one of the ground zero places, if you will, of the JFK assassination. And so obviously he thinks that whole thing's fucked. The Lee Harvey Oswald story and Magic Bullet is hilarious. Yeah. And by the way, those are two of the best breakdowns, between those two episodes I've ever heard on the case by anyone. So he was on those episodes. Then we had him in here for, I want to say it was 3.
Oh my God, bro. Who the fuck Hutch said parody idea, Twilight Zone, Bullet Hits the Bone by Golden Earring. I just did a Golden Earring song about retard love. Am I going to do 2 Golden Earring songs back to back? Kenny said, is this Tyler Robinson? This might have been him. Where was this guy on September 10th, 2025? We need answers, sir. We've got a new suspect, guys. Thanks, Kenny, for pointing that out. We've got a brand new suspect to draw attention away from Tyler Robinson because he's innocent. We are Tyler Robinson. Okay. Yeah.
22 last year, right when the Koberger sentencing was coming down, and he broke down that whole thing and also broke down how crazy the Epstein thing the scene when he was found, having unalived himself, big air quotes there, how crazy that was and how it didn't make sense forensically. So this is a guy who's been on just about every network for the last 14 years, something like that, online all over the place, discussing all kinds of death investigations. Doesn't mean he's right about everything. Nobody is. But one of my favorite people in the world, and he just shoots it as best he can, as straight as he can, to go through cases and break it down. He takes it very seriously, because if you've seen him on my podcast before, he will still get emotional about death notices that he had to give people 25 years ago, when, he'd go to loved ones and say, I'm sorry, your brother, your son, your father has been found dead. Mm-hmm. And he had to be the guy to lay that news down. And it's a very, very heavy thing. So he takes the responsibility of respecting the dead to a whole nother level. And I do admire that a lot. And that's why, by the way, like, we can have fun and joke around with a fake Mitch McConnell mask and stuff like that. But like, even a guy like Lindsey Graham, who, let's be honest, I was no fan of his. I don't know that there was a single political position, particularly with foreign policy, that he had that I would agree with. And, if he had just been naturally not in Senate, that would have certainly made the Senate somewhat of a better place for a minute. But, I'm not going to sit here and rain on someone when they're dead. Death is a serious thing. And,
So what? He got some flack. I think this guy got some flack for covering. Hold on a second. Let's read the caption. I responded to Charlie Kirk backlash. All right, here. Let's hop over here. And then we will go to, I'll pull up the full length and we'll check it out. We'll dip our toes into it. Because I got a lot of I want to show you guys the thing that I found myself too. And we got a few other things to look at. So this is the cameraman here. This is the first clip I think I saw. Well, I don't know if I first saw it on Instagram or Twitter, but either way, here we go. This is the guy. This is the clip that's making the rounds. It's only like a minute or so long. I think it's the same clip going around.
Nobody knew who Erika Kirk was before, unless you were kind of vaguely associated with Turning Point. Yeah. And now everyone in the world has heard her name. Yeah. To say that she wants the truth on this, I think, is hilarious, because we all know she doesn't, because the truth would expose who she really is. Yeah. And I know parts of that I haven't made public yet. I will be at some point. But again, like, there's a lot that people don't know. There's a reason that they're working to keep it private, and it exposes a greater evil. I think that many are either afraid to call out publicly, or they're just unaware of. In both cases, enough is enough, and it's time to start. It's time to start shouting from the rooftops for my fellow Christians, because I don't want us all to suffer at the hands of these demons anymore. Yeah. It's kind of insane.
Well, and her mom's connected to Brad Parscale, and
it's one big happy family, yeah. and they tell you who they are when they say things. They just use doublespeak. I think when Erika said it's one big Turning Point family, I think she's implying to the federal government connections that helped her become the CEO of the largest pro America anti-deep state group that is now propping up the establishment and not doing any of his death. Nobody knew who Erika Kirk was before, unless you were kind of vaguely associated with Turning Point. Okay, and now everyone in the world.
Shit. Sorry, I had to adjust there, guys. Okay, so I don't know if he. This can't possibly be the only point that they talk about Erika Kirk. Is this? I believe this is the full one. Okay, here we go. Let's go here. Oh my effing God, it's 3 hours long. Okay, so it can't. Okay. The Black Line Brief by Calvin Klein. It is a 3-hour interview. You got to be shitting my shit. You got to be shitting into my butthole right now. This is 3 hours long. Oh God, did you guys see that? A snot just blew out of my nose. I did a snot rocket. It went back in though. It didn't get anyway. Scott Starber said, I think it was Lance Bass. We have like 3 new suspects tonight, guys. I don't think I can handle this. Shiz on the Diz DMS. Yeah. Who's shitting into my shitter right now? This is 3 hours long. Okay. We'll play it in 10x speed.
And then I can also, you can send me your like buy me a coffee link and I can throw it in the description for after the video posts.
Cool. I'll do that.
All right. And then let me pull back up the video that when we do go to show the video, we'll do that. All right. So let's get started with a couple of things that kind of happened over the weekend that we'll just put it to bed and answer it. And then we'll move on with what we really want to do tonight. So regarding the attacks and slander and defamation that's went on over the weekend regarding, BS supposed ties to Turning Point Action and something your dad was a part of. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I can't, comment too much on it because the case is still in active litigation. I will say kind of what I can say legally. This does go back to, as far back as January. People have been pulling the clip that Candace Owens kind of incorrectly stated some things that are in that court document there. Generally speaking, the story goes, my father was working for this gentleman who made changes to his estate. And then after his death, because of my previous work history with Turning Point USA, his grandson, who's named in the suit, is accusing my father of things that just, aren't true. And they are blatantly just accusatory and implications up until this point.
Okay. I don't know what the fuck
that they're going to be teasing out at some point. I thought that was just an interesting thing to note, that, they are beginning this kind of process of indicative of, in my opinion, the narrative that they're trying to turn everyone's attention away from.
Yeah, and the other thing that's really interesting about that sit down, that focus group, is Andrew Colvett. Every chance he got, he tried to steer the conversation in a favorable direction, 100%. Away from the direction that Charlie and the students were naturally going in this direction. And Andrew grabs the steering wheel and and you can see it's just so obvious that he's.
Well, that's why I think I said it. Maybe we were talking about it the other day on here, but you're right. They're talking about Charlie says Mossad. Why is that the first thing that you'd say their intelligence agency? And the first thing the kid replies is, well, they have parallels to the CIA. And then they get down the train of Jeffy Epi, and from there it.
Oh yeah, so this is they're referring to. I think it's one of Charlie's last things that he did, where there's like college kids that are talking to him, but they're like sitting there. It's more of a intimate environment. It's not like a giant, if I'm not mistaken, it's not like a giant lecture thing. It's like it's a video where it's him and Andrew Colvett there, and they're discussing stuff, and naturally, that one country comes up and their intelligence agency and all of that stuff. And Andrew Colvett is trying so hard to keep the conversation away from that.
Just Andrew immediately kind of jumps in and tries to redirect the conversation. Well, is that immediately your first assumption, or is there some nuance there? And the room's kind of split. And in the clip that I made, I kind of cut it off where the one kid says, no, I think a lot of Gen Z actually believes that he was working with intelligence agencies. And Charlie himself says that belief is gaining velocity. And so, even in that clip, I thought it was odd that Andrew Colvett was inserted into the mix because, he is kind of a producer behind the scenes. We've now seen him take a very public role, but before that, it was not something that was common per se. I said I think it worked at the time because he was already in the mix. It didn't really raise any red flags, but in hindsight, I think it's very clear kind of the role that he was put into place for.
The timing is really sus because that was the summer of 2025.
Well, that's the
bro. That is so interesting.
Same sass. Where keep in mind they have the Josh Hammer, Dave Smith debate, and they have
that's funny because seeing that clip, I didn't even really recognize him when I saw that for the first time.
They have Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly where he gets on stage and accuses Jeffy Epi of working with Mossad with no evidence. So Charlie Kirk was happy to get on a stage at SAS and hurl conspiracy theories in front of an audience. And now Blake Neff is telling you that the conspiracy right is evil and hates America. And it's again, just leftist doublespeak at this point. These people are akin to leftists, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're historical revisionists.
They are. We're approaching Bolshevism. It's quite scary, actually, in my opinion. And while they're simultaneously telling you, no, communists are the enemy and Bolsheviks were evil, it's you guys are acting exactly like them. I don't know what kind of false reality you're living in. But it's very strange the times that we're in right now. And that's part of why I'm speaking out.
what's weird too is so on that stage, Megyn Kelly says a lot. And since then,
she says so much, but it's interesting because I think if you watch it, she's hesitant. She doesn't want to say too much. She goes, well, I think he's not one of ours, which she's like saying it, but she's not saying it. And then Charlie looks to the crowd and he's like, I think that he was, an Israeli asset. What do you guys think? He's very much pushing this narrative 100%. Forward in ways that people around him are like, ooh, yikes, like, I don't want to go there, and even Andrew Kovet's like, hang on, bud, let's steer this back.
Yes.
And to look at it otherwise, I think you're just kind of being naive.
Bro, I have a clip of Megyn after that. And then she says she has an inside administration, like high up source, that nothing actually happened. He wasn't anyone's asset. And that actually he didn't transport anybody, that he was just into younger looking and nearly illegal people.
Megyn Kelly is she can't make up her mind. Like she changes based on the season. I feel like one day she thinks he is an asset, the next day she doesn't. One day she, is on tour with Erika Kirk and trusts the lone shooter narrative, and then the next day she's wanting to question everything. I think she's kind of being used as a useful idiot. She'll be used as like a useful idiot to pacify the population and keep them confused, and it's intentional. There's a lot of people who kind of play those roles, I think, as well, but she does it most obviously, in my opinion.
Okay, so that is a lot longer of an interview than I expected. Maybe we will come back to that. Probably not. But that it seems really interesting. I don't know about having time to go through that full thing tonight. It's 3 fucking hours, and he's there for like the whole thing. Let's move over here. So this is Brett Weinstein, and I included him in part of the thumbnail. So this is just interesting. Brett Weinstein put this tweet up. Let me get you guys over here. Here, let me do this. We'll do that. Okay. Let me get to the original one. So the original one, this is a goated tweet right here. Check this out. Look at this, chat. Wake up. Lock in right now. It's getting serious. No, look at this. So let me go down here so you can see it a little bit better. This is on Brett Weinstein's Twitter. I can never remember which one's Brett, which one's Eric, but I guess this is Brett's. It says Brett. So, or wait, which one did I get you guys on? No, this. Okay, so I am on the wrong tab. Here we go. Brett, yes. If Tyler Robinson, he tweeted this 2 days ago. If Tyler Robinson acted alone, what's with the cover-up? Very interesting. I'm locked in. Cigarette counter 0. There's no one smoking. You can do a bong counter. I'm still on my first bong. You know what? We should do that. Let's do that. I'll add that banner right now, actually. Let's do it. Bong counter. Guys, you know what's cool, though? I told you guys there was this thing, and I can never remember the name. I think I always called it like the wand thing or something. It's called the Terpsicle. Bong counter 1. We got 1 so far. So it's called a Terpsicle, guys. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but bong counter 420. 420, dog. It's a Terpsicle. It's for vaporizing. I've told you guys I was considering sort of switching to mostly vaporizing, pretty much only vaporizing, just because I was curious. There's a bunch of other things in life and my diet and everything that I've tried to diminish the xenoestrogens that I come in contact with. And there's with smoking cannabis as opposed to vaporizing it, smoking it actually does turn some chemicals into like a xenoestrogenic effects. Some of them have. And supposedly vaporizing it doesn't. That was one of the things that made me think about it. But then I was also like, you know what? It's probably better off instead of like smoking to just vape, and whatever. But it's completely legal. CBD, THCA, gas station, bath salt, buds, completely legal stuff. but it's probably better to vaporize it, right? So anyway, I got this thing. It's cool. It's an all glass. I'll show you guys maybe at the end of the stream. I ordered it. I had a lot of trouble ordering it. I don't know what the fuck is up with their website. I had to do it on my laptop. It would not let me do it through my phone. It said my card wasn't even real. And I was like starting to think this website, something's like, I think the company shut down or something. I don't know what's going on. But then I eventually got it to work on my laptop. But it took a few tries. So anyway, maybe I got scammed. I might have got scammed, guys, but we'll see if this thing shows up in the mail. We'll see about that. A little terpsicle. But yeah, basically, guys, it's like I could show you a video later, but it's like a glass tube, and you pack the bud into this little glass bowl part at the end of the tube, and then this glass bulb goes over it. It's almost like smoking meth. Glass bulb goes over the glass thing that has the bud in it, and they don't really touch, and you just heat the glass bulb that's around the outside. And then when that gets really hot, you breathe, breathe in through the other end, not the end you just heated. You'd burn your lips, they'd melt onto it. You do the other end, and you breathe in through there, and it pulls the hot air through the bud and vaporizes it. And then you get a nice little puff. How about that? Tom Cruise worships xenoestrogens. Lord xenoestrogens. Where were we? Oh, yeah, over here. So, Tyler Robinson, if he acted alone, what's the cover-up? Why are you granting, someone responded, why are you granting the null hypothesis that Tyler Robinson was involved in anything? And he said, who granted anything? See, that's the thing. This is a question, ladies and gentlemen. If Tyler Robinson acted alone, what's with the cover-up? Okay, so, and then let me bring you to this one. So I'm interested to see other people weighing in on this. So it says, for those asking about evidence of a cover-up in the Charlie Kirk case, Liberty Lock Pod provided a good list. This should not be political. An attack on any leader should unite us all in pursuit of the truth, whatever that might be. The government's track record speaks for itself. Very true. So let's go to this guy's thing. I'm interested. I did not pre-read through some of this, so let's check out what this guy... let me see here. Okay, this is it, I think. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I think this is the list that they're referring to. Let's go over to this tab. Let's hop over here. Okay. So it reads, let me get a toothpick. It reads, Lord knows he isn't asking in good faith, but I'll answer for the honest people who might be wondering. So he's responding to this person, Seth Dillon, who said, is there admissible evidence establishing a cover-up? What is it? I'm interested to see this. So, okay. Lord knows he isn't asking in good faith, but he's going to answer anyway. So within 5 days of the attack, the site had been fully excavated and paved. According to the paver, this came down direct from the feds and the Utah government, who needed it done quickly and quietly. So this is for Andrew Wilson out there, guys. Andrew Wilson's just going to sit there and go, la, 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 la. As you go through if you try to give this evidence to the Andrew Wilsons, that's what they're going to do, is just chain smoke and plug their ears. So this, one of the most suspicious things here, excavated site, pavers told by the feds and Utah government to do it quickly and quietly. Not weird at all, guys, especially not when we're thinking there's possibly explosion evidence that could have fallen down into the grass and or a bullet fragment down into the grass, because what we are thinking is everyone's calling the entrance wound. Some of the alternative theory people are thinking that is the exit wound. So both conspiracy theories with the most lines of evidence that people think point to it being a shot coming from upward at a downward angle and the exit wound being the front of his neck, and explosive residue from a possible exploding microphone or necklace or whatever. Both lines of evidence would have been removed from the scene very quickly and quietly due to the pavers being rushed. And this is the one thing I like to highlight here, especially because the Andrew Wilsons and these other people, like the Pete Silverman who was in my chat, these people will go, "Where's your evidence, huh, Steve? Huh, you crazy fucking crackhead? You just watched Candace Owens. Where's your evidence?" Well, I'm sorry. They paved over the crime scene, and I'm not a federal agent that's supposed to thoroughly invest. Someone could have gone over it with a goddamn metal detector. I could have done it if they wouldn't have arrested me for going onto the crime scene. Forgive me for not having evidence when they paved it over. How dare you ask me for evidence when the people you're getting your evidence for paved over my evidence? Is that not hilarious? I just want to keep the context of everything when you have these conversations with people. When you see these conversations happen other places, you just got to keep everything in context. The people who paved over our evidence, the people who contaminated our evidence, are the people responsible for providing the evidence of the people who are making fun of you for not having. You get where it's like circular, right? DMS, you need a twink time machine. I know. I'm getting too old. Okay. Where were we? Let's move on. Former director of counterterrorism, Joe Kent, said he had seen viable leads hinting at potential foreign intel involvement. He was frozen out of the investigation by Kash Patel. La 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 la. Smoke another cigarette. La 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 la. La 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 la. Footage of the arrest deleted. La 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 la. Andrew Wilson. No footage that clearly IDs Tyler exists from the UV campus, nor do we ever see him with the rifle. That's very true. They say it's shoved down his legs. That fucking, what's his name? Misfit Patriot idiot proved to us that whether it's broken down in half or assembled fully, if he took one step with that rifle shoved down his pants, you would be seeing it bulging not only out of his pants with the barrel sticking out like he has got two sets of knees, but it would also be bulging through his shirt. Thank you, misfit retard. No footage of him with a rifle. Multiple TPUSA affiliate influencers provably lied through their teeth last week about smoking gun footage. It doesn't exist. Guys, again, if they had, listen, what's the point of lying if it's an open and shut case and it's what's the point? This is the thing again, guys. This was one of the red flags. How long ago was that Candace Owens sat down with Erika Kirk? This was one of the red flags where Candace's conversation with her actually helped me to form a decision on this and a decision on Erika Kirk, is the fact that, remember, we can talk about the evidence that we have so far. When people think that there's really good evidence that's laid out in court, yet pretty much every line of evidence can be disputed and stuff. None of it is like extremely solid evidence. Guys, the judge would have already made a decision if it was solid evidence. You understand the pretrial hearing stuff? That's not deciding if he's guilty or not. That's just deciding whether they have enough evidence to charge him. You understand? Like if all of these other, they like to talk about, oh, the defense isn't using the arguments Candace Owens is saying and whatever. Guys, you realize that the judge doesn't agree with you guys. You realize that, right? The judge does not agree with all of the influencers on Twitter that are saying Tyler Robinson is guilty and that the evidence is obvious. You understand this? He would have already agreed to the trial. He would have already allowed it to happen and made his decision that there's enough evidence to at least charge him. You realize this? Like, even people on court TV, like, not crazy conspiracy people, there are plenty of sources that are very mainstream that said during halfway through the week of this trial said, this is weird. This is weird. We're 3 days into a preliminary hearing. They've presented all of this evidence, and the judge normally will cut a preliminary hearing short. It's rare that a prosecutor even gets to present all of their evidence. A week-long preliminary hearing, that's like not, that's not really common. And secondly, the other person who has their DNA all over the fucking evidence is granted at least partial immunity. There's very weird stuff going on with this case. And again, these people that say the evidence is so clear it was Tyler, the judge doesn't agree with you. You can talk about that the judge doesn't agree with us and the defense doesn't agree with us because the defense isn't using the same arguments Candace Owens is. Judge doesn't agree with you guys. He would have already made a decision. We wouldn't be having to wait till September, whatever the fuck, to even find out if there's going to be a trial. So yeah, there's that. Doesn't exist. Yeah. So yeah, the 4K footage doesn't exist. The evidence is all fucking shaky. Expert testimony claimed the Mauser 98 had dust in the barrel. This is another interesting thing here, guys. Listen to this. Expert testimony claimed, this is during the preliminary hearing, ladies and gentlemen, claimed the Mauser 98 had dust in the barrel. So at this point, we can't even confirm the rifle was fired, much less fired by Robinson. So they, I forget which part. I guess it was for when they were testing the gun. I think when they fired a shot with it, all I do remember is that this was a significant part, that there was dust in the barrel, because that, if you had just fired, when you fire a gun, it essentially cleans it. I mean, if it's not too dirty, right? If there's a little bit of dust in the barrel, as soon as you shoot it one time, all of that stuff burns up with one round. So if he shot one round with the rifle, there shouldn't be dust in it like it's been sitting on a fucking shelf on display in someone's room. Hold on. And then roommate. Okay, yeah. And I already talked about this. Robinson's roommate was granted limited immunity, and he now serves as the only witness to confirm a confession. Guys, and this is another thing. I would have never expected. Forgive me, I didn't have on my bingo card that every conservative MAGA person on Twitter would be hinging a murder case on the word of a trans furry. Did you guys see this coming? Because I didn't. I never would have imagined that every Republican on Twitter would be trusting the word of a trans furry for something as important as this, where with everything hinging on this. Going to trust the word of a trans furry. Not only that, who also has their DNA on all of the evidence. The only witness to confirm the confession and has their DNA on everything. Hilarious, guys. Hilarious. It's crazy that they call us the trolls. It's like you guys are trolling. You know how retarded this is. Stop playing games with me. You know how dumb this is. More strange, Twiggs claims Robinson's rarely talked politics. This is another thing, guys. We're trying to establish motive here. He said he never even said Charlie Kirk's name. Never mentioned Charlie Kirk to Lance Twiggs. And this is the guy who is establishing the motive for them. Again, remember this. This is the evidence of the motive. Very unusual given the prosecution's narrative would lead you to believe that he was carrying out this attack in defense of their gay trans lifestyle. So, oddly enough, they're arguing that Tyler took out Charlie Kirk because of Charlie Kirk's views on trans people, and Robinson was defending his trans girlfriend, a furry friend, whatever you want to call it. Yet Robinson had never mentioned Charlie Kirk to Lance Twiggs. There are dozens of other data points which could demonstrate a cover-up, but truthfully, I still don't know who killed CK, and I lean towards Tyler having been involved. Wish we could all just acknowledge that the government isn't reliable, and asking these questions is not just necessary, but healthy. Thank you. See, this is so based. I'm actually stunned at how many people can get away with acting like this is some kind of irresponsible line of thinking or something. This is irresponsible tweeting to consider the possibility in any way, shape, or form that anyone besides Tyler Robinson had anything to do with this. You are mistaken, DMS. Dusty Barrel was his grinder handle. That's pretty funny. Oh, that's pretty funny. So yeah, guys, that's I feel like that's what we just read there. That's fair. That's all fair. Let's go here. Hold on. Let's see what Facebook does tonight. Tried the absolute shit out of me. Okay. So let me pull this up here. Man, I got a lot of stuff to get to with this week. So remember this. Since we mentioned Lance Twiggs, look at this clip. I like that someone put this together. Someone edited this together so I don't have to go find the two different videos and compare them side by side. Remember, what was Lance Twiggs' alibi? You guys remember from the preliminary hearing, what was Lance Twiggs' alibi? I slept until 1 p.m. I'm a lazy trans furry, and I was taking a doggy nap until 1 p.m. 1 p.m., guys. Who sleeps till 1 p.m.? I don't think I've ever slept till 1 p.m. Even in my worst form ever. You guys realize I used to be a junkie hooked on to Roxy's. I was hooked on opiates. I had a drug problem. Okay? At no point did I ever sleep until 1 p.m. Never. Okay? And consider that, and then also consider this video here. Even when I'm sick, I can't sleep like that. Same promo, same. Slept until 1 p.m. That is fucking bullshit. No one even paid attention to that either. They're just like, whoa, he's a tranny, you know. Oh, fuck. Here, I lost the tab. Sorry. Got too many tabs open. Here we go. It's Wesley, guys. His name isn't Lance. It's Wesley.
Your name? I'm Wesley. Wesley, tell me what you noticed. And then I heard the shot. I looked over. I saw what I thought was smoke, and then I got out of there.
Like I said, he was up and around doing a lot of stuff around the house after.
Tell me your name.
Does that not, guys, is this not the same person? Is this the same person, or are we all completely retarded?
I'm Wesley.
Wesley, tell me what you noticed.
And then I heard the shot. I looked over. I saw what I thought was smoke, and then I got out of there.
Like I said, he was up and around doing a lot of stuff around the house after.
Tell me your name.
I mean, what?
I'm Wesley.
Wesley, tell me what you noticed.
And then I heard the shot. I looked over. I saw what I thought was smoke, and then I got out of there.
Can we acknowledge too? Hold on. I need to start. Well, it's going to start over anyway. Can we acknowledge that he just came up with this name on the spot too? Like this wasn't even, he didn't even have a fake name planned when he came up to do this interview. He just thought of that right on the spot, and you can tell, watch.
Tell me your name.
I'm Wesley.
The delay. Guys, the delay. Guys, the delay. Are we kidding? Have you ever, listen, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever had to think about what your name is? For a split second, someone asks you your name, do you go, Steve? I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Tell me your name.
I'm Wesley.
Wesley, tell me what you noticed.
And then I heard the shot.
Wesley. My name Jeff.
I looked over. I saw what I thought was smoke, and then I got out of there.
Like I said, he was up and around doing a lot of stuff around the house after.
Tell me your name.
My name Jeff.
Wesley.
Wesley, tell me what you noticed.
And then I heard the shot. I looked over. I saw what I thought was smoke, and then I got out of there.
Like I said, he was up and around doing a lot of stuff around the house after.
Tell me your.
One more time, guys.
Your name.
My name Jeff.
I'm Wesley.
Wesley, tell me what you noticed.
And then I heard the shot. I looked over. I saw what I thought was smoke.
Yeah, so that was the other thing too, Funny Face. He says smoke. That was intriguing to me too. I'm not sure what he's referring to there. Oddly enough, he says smoke. Yeah. No, that's weird because, well, you don't see smoke from Charlie Kirk. His body ain't smoking. Dude, I don't know with the exploding beepers and stuff. A lot of people are thinking that it couldn't have been a mic explosion because there isn't smoke. But I don't think the explosions require smoke these days, guys. We were talking 2026, baby. We got smokeless explosions. Yeah. Intriguing here. Let's go over. We're going to go back over to the gram. God damn. So here's this again. This goes with the theme of, and this is intriguing because Jesse on Fire, I think, is one of the only people that I have seen discuss this. Let me get us over to this tab. So I don't know who this person is supposed to be. This person supposedly had contact with Charlie Kirk and had all of this weird shit that they were posting. Let me show you this clip. And it's if I'm not mistaken, I got to go and find. See, this is the thing, guys. I've been saving so much stuff with this and jumping around from here to there, looking at stuff. And I lose track of some of the stuff I find. But, okay, I found, all right. So there's talk about a third roommate. We're going to have to take a look at this tweet here that's discussing this, and it's citing some court documents. And it's saying something about a third roommate. But, you know, bare minimum, guys, this is one of the things that we are concerned about. Bare minimum is that it's possible Tyler was involved, but they are laying this on this singular guy. You know, someone else had kind of made the point, but you know how people go with their fucking posts on Twitter, especially conspiracy people, which I fucking hate, is they will post a clip of something and say, do you notice this? Da da da. And you have to go to the comments for people to talk about, like, why are people sharing this clip? You know, but someone, I think they were hinting, and I didn't realize what they were hinting at first. But someone, I think, was hinting at that they don't even think Tyler was like smart enough to pull this off. And he might actually not be like slow, like, you know, retarded or something. You know, he got accepted into whatever college. I don't know what his grades were like. You know, maybe they weren't that bad or whatever. But dude, the clip of him reading the acceptance letter he kind of seems like he's a little bit like slow or something. And again, I'm not claiming that he's a complete 62, but that was another one of the things that made me think, like, man, this guy in this clip seems dull. He doesn't seem like someone that's got a lot of thoughts going on back behind his eyes, like he's just kind of going with the flow. That's like what he seems like to me. Like he's not some like charismatic or, you know, extremely determined person who's just real bent out of shape because, you know what, Charlie Kirk said what, motherfucker? What has Charlie Kirk said that is so egregious against trans people? It's not even a realistic. It doesn't even make sense. If you watch Charlie Kirk stuff, you know he hasn't even said anything that would like legitimately set off a trans person. I mean, maybe it's possible, but to think that there's a random person that would go kill Charlie Kirk on behalf of their trans boyfriend, and there's literally no clip ever to support the idea that anyone should think Charlie hates trans people or something. Thuggish Ruggish up in here. What's up, broski? Thanks for joining us. I don't know, guys. There's just so much of this is just so fucking weird, and I hate it. Let's take a look at this. Oh, sorry. I was digressing. We're thinking bare minimum. Tyler Robinson could have been served as some part of this. He may have even thought, and this is one thing I was thinking about recently, that I was thinking, what if AZ's up in here too? What's up, bro? Good to see you. What if Charlie said trans schmans? Yeah. What if Tyler Robinson honestly thought? Now, hear me out. Even I doubt there's someone who is a Fed slop proponent who would have sat through this much of the stream. But, you know, just to have an open conversation here, and in hopes that maybe someone from the opposing end of the spectrum might hear me out. What if Tyler Robinson was technically part of this scheme to take out Charlie Kirk? But what if he is literally a dumb pawn in the scheme? What if he, like, maybe he did know that Charlie was going to get taken out, and he was complicit in a sense, like he didn't warn anybody, didn't try to stop it, but what if his part in it was literally just to be a distraction? And well, that's what he thought. What if that's what he thought? That they literally told him, I don't know who they is, of course. We're speculating here, guys, but we're having an open discussion here. I'm not saying, look, guys, this is what happened. They the Jews, blah, blah, blah. No, we're just having a conversation here. What if this guy was a dumb pawn and thought like the George Zinn guy? The George Zinn guy was legitimately a distraction. And I think he's in prison now or something for having CP stuff on his computer or something. I don't know. I know we got in trouble for that after all this went down. But that guy jumped up screaming, shoot me, shoot me. Give or take, he may have said, I did it. A lot of people claim he said, I did it. I don't know that that's on recording. But either way, the guy was some kind of distraction and got apprehended that day because of it. What if Tyler Robinson thought that he was a distraction in this whole scheme, what if like there was a group that was operating out of his house, Lance Twiggs and this other roommate, which we will get to, but there's this other person that Jesse on Fire is about to talk about here. I don't know if this is the roommate. I'm kind of tying these two ideas together, but hear me out anyway. What if Tyler was a pawn in this, and they literally him and it was like a group of people that his roommate, possible two roommates, lover/roommate, were involved in some kind of fucking weird group that had ties to possibly state actors, who knows? And they got him to just go be a distraction. And they told him, yeah, go climb on this roof and you'll run away off of the roof and jump off and you'll get chased down. And the bullet isn't going to come from your rifle, so they're not going to be able to tie you to it. And they just told him he'd be a distraction. And then now, because he was there in his car possibly and whatever, and may or may not have been up on the roof, now he's getting charged for fucking murder. But maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's like scared to truly defend himself because he would have to admit that he was a part of it, But he was just like, right, if this was the case, and I'm not saying that I think this is exactly what happened. We don't know what the fuck actually happened, okay? But if this is the case, that would be wrong for him to go to prison for all the blame of this, right? Well, not prison. They're seeking the death penalty. I forgot. So, right, if this guy got offed by the government and he's taking this to the grave with him, that there was a group of people that wanted to take out Charlie Kirk that may or may not have involved our government or a government outside of the United States. And this group of people put this plan together and took out Charlie Kirk. And we are accidentally putting this kind of dull, dumb, gay guy in the electric chair, firing squad, whatever the hell they're going to use. He's getting put to death over this thing and possibly was just a pawn in it, right? I mean, that's wrong, right? And that would be stupid, not only on the level that he's getting too much punishment for his part in it possibly, but also the people that play the biggest part are just getting away scot-free. One of them possibly has immunity already. Guys, do we see the problem? Okay. Let's play this clip. Lock in, guys.
Sky Valdez has a drawing of a shooter on the roof 3 weeks prior to a shooter on the roof killing Charlie Kirk, and a song that says Charlie Kirk dead at 31, which was posted basically at the same time. If you could put Sky Valdez with Lance Twiggs, that would be a headshot, wouldn't it? Ooh, how about that, dude? How about Sky, September 18th? Haven't seen you in a game for a whole week. Where have you been? In his Steam server. Exactly where we got all of the other stuff. Hey, let's keep pushing though, right? Because if you guys
okay, so what are we seeing here? I'm not familiar with the Sky Valdez situation, okay? So this is why I wanted to save this. And again, I don't know how legitimate all this is, but the thing is, guys, there's so many. I mean, I don't think this guy Jesse on Fire now, to be completely honest here, I don't think this guy, I don't know if he's the most thorough or whatever. We saw one thing that you guys might have remember being familiar with Jesse on Fire. We reviewed his debate with Destiny. I don't remember what they debated about, but listen, Destiny fucking bent him over like he does a lot of people who are just ill prepared and don't know what they're walking into. Okay. But I don't think that he is completely off with this here. I really don't. And this is the problem. Is I don't think all of these leads have been looked into. And again, we talked about this before. The other tweets, there were like different tweets and stuff talking about Charlie Kirk is going to get offed tomorrow and all this stuff. I can't see how everyone is so willing to lock this one guy up for this. Bob Coke Can Cannabis Cookie Cook is up in the chat. What's up? Did I say Jesse Peterson? Jesse on fire. Did I say Jesse Peterson? Jesus Christ, I'm a crackhead.
Just recall, right? If you recall this from Sky Valdez, and then if you remember Sky Valdez dressed up like a militant, okay? Well, this is the militant trans group in Minnesota. Sky Valdez has a drawing of a shooter on the roof 3 weeks prior to a shooter on the roof killing Charlie Kirk, and a song that says Charlie Kirk dead at 31, which was posted basically at the same time. If you could put Sky Valdez with Lance Twiggs, that would be a headshot, wouldn't it? Ooh, how about that, dude? How about Sky, September 18th? Haven't seen you in a game for a whole week. Where have you been? In his Steam server.
Good times, guys. Destiny did not bend Jesse Peterson over. Amazing. It's a bad visual right there. Jesus Christ, guys. I got to blow my nose. I still got this, whatever cold I got, the goddamn, let's blow a snot rocket into this trash can. Check this out. That didn't work out that well. Okay. Whatever cold that I got a couple weeks ago, I don't know if this is, if I'm having a reaction to, what's it called? Pollen or something, but I've still got snot bad. My lungs have cleared up. Everything else, I'm good, but yeah, I still got snot. Yucky. I got boogers. Where were we? Sky Valdez. Here, let's do this. So I did find the roommate thing. We can take a look at that. Here, I wanted to show you the Candace clip because this is another thing that I think is worth pointing out. I don't know if Candace is right on this, but the officer, I think this is about the badge cam.
All right, so what do we know? We know that they found Tyler Robinson in just 33 hours. Valhalla, my friends. Who could forget the moment they announced that? By that time, of course, they had also announced that they found the gun and a screwdriver, which had his DNA on it. That was announced by Kash Patel a couple of days later, but they had kind of already leaked that they were looking, they had discovered this a screwdriver. I think it was actually the next day on September 11th was the first time we heard about this. Now, I just want to say we should just consider the screwdriver full stop because I have so many questions about it. When exactly and why exactly did he take it out at all? Think about that. They rushed so much to say his DNA was on there, but now it makes no sense at all that he had a screwdriver in his hand on the rooftop. Can anybody make logical sense of that? And why is it that the person who filmed and observed him on that roof on Losey Center making military movements, we got a lot of emails from you guys about what that is and how you would have to have military training to know how to do that movement. Why is it that he has maintained his story and has absolutely no recollection of having seen a towel or a screwdriver, actually? When did that happen, right? Throughout my conversations with him, he didn't see either. When did the person on the rooftop take out a towel and take out a screwdriver? Why would he take out the towel or the screwdriver on the rooftop? None of the influencers, by the way, I might mention and add here, none of them mentioned and shared that moment in their 4K HD overwhelming recap.
Maddie said to break down the rifle. Well, so this is the thing. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what she's getting at. If I'm understanding correctly, we're talking about why the screwdriver would be left there in the first place. You know, I think that initially people were claiming he used the screwdriver to put the gun back together on the roof. and then he took the shot and then ran off. But I don't know that you see that. He was pleasuring himself with the screwdriver. He was shoving it in his butt. Or was he sounding? Was he going in the pee hole? Yeah, you guys heard about sounding? That's gross. Yeah, maybe butter knives. Good point. But no, so they're saying they initially were saying that he put the rifle back together on the roof, and he was walking around with it broken down, separated, when he's walking through the school and everything. And then when he gets on the roof, he puts it back together and gets in position. But I don't think that shows that in the video, right? I think that's part of the problem with what we're getting at, is that the video doesn't show him pull a rifle out of his pants and then sit there with a screwdriver putting it back together. Only one screw between the stock and the rifle. If I'm not mistaken, it was like the same. If Misfit Patriot was being accurate and he showed the rifle that he had, which I guess was very similar, if I'm not mistaken, is 2 screws. And it's not like I'm not saying that it would take him 5 minutes to do it. I'm saying you don't see it on video. Like you would see him go, ugh. All right, I got the one 3-foot piece out. Let me get the other 3-foot piece out of my pants. Okay, like it's Mary Poppins pulling something out of her bag. All right, then put it together, get the screwdriver, put it together. Okay, all right, now get into position. I don't think that that's on video. This is what she's getting at. What they're talking about, the 4K video of him taking the shot. If they could see a 4K video of Tyler taking the shot, and they know that it's him based off this video, it's such clear video, guys. It was so clear. That video would show him take the rifle out of his pants and assemble it, and then and get into position to take the shot.
That they saw the screwdriver in 4K. When did it happen? Can they do that? You guys, you saw it. They only showed it to you guys. Could you tell us, could you further illustrate to Benny Johnson the moment he took out that screwdriver and why he did that? And of course, when Officer Bagley, the officer who raced.
That was a good reference, wasn't it? AZ said Larry Poppins. He pulled it out of his ass. Yeah. That was a pretty good reference, wasn't it, guys? Mary Poppins pulling stuff out of the bag. Haven't heard that in a while, huh? That's a pretty damn good reference. I got to give myself credit for that. Credit where due, guys. It's due to me. That was a good reference.
Over to Velozzi Center rooftop at 12:44 p.m. Charlie gets shot at 12:23. He's up there at 12:44 p.m. and he finds that screwdriver. But, you know, mysteriously, we had another blackout, another amnesia spell, this time from a piece of tech. The body cam just died. It was just like Blake Neff. It was like, I don't know I don't remember anything. I'm just a body cam. That's sad. You know, we received a score of emails from police officers all over the country.
Maddie said, why the F would they show you their evidence to be used in trial? They're not showing me. They were trying to show the judge to convince him. And they went all week and couldn't, with the evidence they showed, could not convince the judge through a whole week of preliminary hearing, could not convince the judge that they had a good enough case to take it to trial. So you'd think if they had good evidence, a 4K video that showed Tyler putting the rifle together, taking the 2 giant pieces out of his jeans and putting it together and getting into position and everything. I mean, the influencers said you could see so clearly that he took the shot. That would have to be in the same footage, right? It's not like it's like 30 minutes ago. They say, I mean, this is the people that are saying the rifle is small enough to fit in his jeans. And that's the explanation for the rifle, or sorry, for the screwdriver even being loose on the roof, was that he had it out to assemble the rifle. You said then Tyler Robinson should have been freed if there's no probable cause for the arrest. I'm not saying there's no probable cause for an arrest. I'm saying it's they don't have, apparently didn't have enough for the judge to make a solid decision within that week long. You're asking me why would they show me the evidence? I'm not talking about them showing me. This is my response to you, is that they were showing the judge. And you'd think after 3 days of showing them all kinds of bullshit and the judge still didn't make a decision, you'd think they would go, yeah, well, here's the video of Tyler pulling the rifle out of his pants, assembling it on the roof. That's why the screwdriver's there. You know, we never have that moment. So which is what? You're saying which is it? So which is what? What do you mean? Let's hear the rest of this. Hold on.
And the world telling us that account registers to them as absolute BS, that we will be able to find out eventually how that battery died so quickly, or if it was manually turned off. I personally am looking forward to that full trial. All right, so what do we know? We know that they found Tyler Robinson in just 33 hours.
Okay, it's cycled over. Maddie replied, has the judge ruled on the prelim or not? No, he hasn't. Probable cause for an arrest is different than talking about if the judge thinks there's enough evidence to take it to trial. He's arrested. He's charged for the crime, so he's sitting in jail, and they're not letting him bond out. No, he hasn't ruled on the prelim. No. They're coming back. He's coming back with a ruling in September. That's the thing. He's gonna look over the evidence. If I'm not mistaken, it's like September 1st or something that they're going back. All right, so let's take a look here. Let's hop over here. We might hop back over to the Instagram, but I at least wanted to take a look at this. And again, I don't know. We're taking a look. Okay, so Ian's talking about Turkey Tom. Let's hop over here. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's read through this real quick. I think I got to hit this bong first, guys. Hold on a second. You know how it is. Come on. Cut me a little slack here. It's just CBDs. Maddie said, this is what the prelim is for, to determine if there's enough evidence to go to trial or not. Yeah, I know. What are we arguing about? I think I said that like 3 times. Or are you responding to somebody else? I don't know. Okay, let's take a look at this now that I hit the bong. Where are we? Clint Russell. We'll get rid of that. Let me close out some of these tabs. Oh, that's the one I need. Okay. So, right? Okay, yeah. Many people from the top here, guys. In fact, let me go down here in case you want to kind of read along. Many people don't know this, but Tyler and Lance had a third roommate in 2024. In the first half of 2025. Okay, so this wasn't a roommate at the time. So this is the thing. what was the name? I forget the name that Jesse on Fire. I already forgot that person's name, but the person Jesse on Fire was talking about. So I was thinking maybe I was erroneously connecting these two people, because if the person in the Steam chat said, I haven't seen you on this game in a few days, where are you? That kind of implies that they're not living together, right? If they're asking, why aren't you on the game? What's up? That sounds like they're not living together. But it's a prior roommate. So I thought it was a current roommate, but this is still interesting. There may be a connection here. I don't know. So that roommate is the source of the Turkey Tom text. Okay, I got to see what the fuck Turkey Tom got into. We might have to go down that rabbit hole, guys. We might have to go chase that down. So if you go back and read those messages with that understanding, you can easily derive that from the context. That roommate is also the sole source of the Lance is trans talking point, but because the roommate has been repeatedly quoted as an unnamed friend and not literally freaking roommate, it created the effect of many people saying it. When I first figured out the TT texts were written by someone who actually lived with Lance and Tyler, I couldn't understand why he hadn't simply identified himself as their former roommate. It would have instantly given him more credibility. By saying he was their friend, it made all those pictures he had taken of Lance's nests look weird AF and made everyone think the messages were written by the feds. Because, like, who stalks around their friend's house taking pictures like that? Well, going through the transcripts today, I finally figured it out. It's because nearly all of the actual evidence against Tyler had been collected from the roommate's room, not Tyler's. Specifically, the Remington boxes and the other engraved bullets. What the fuck? I'm now more convinced than ever that whoever this roommate is the one who set up Tyler. I think he's some kind of handler, probably. I also think Lance is the one who he was supposed to set up, and for some reason, Tyler went in his place. That's why he took all those pictures, meticulously documenting Lance's mental illness. That's why 3/4 of the messages with Turkey Tom were detailing Lance's mental illnesses and barely mentioning Tyler whatsoever. What the fuck? Okay, we're going to have to go watch the Turkey Tom deal. For some reason, but for reasons I still haven't figured out, Tyler went to Orem instead of Lance that day. I think those iMessages were written using Tyler's Apple account logged into his MacBook, and that's why the Apple records weren't present in court. I tested this out one day by having my phone locked and simply messaging my girlfriend from my desktop. I was able to send and receive messages with her and then delete them on my Mac, and my phone never once pinged, and I had no record of them on my phone. I think there are a lot of communications between that roommate and Lance and Tyler. And that's why they kept search warrants for all the data collections limited to simply the dates between August 27th and September 12th. Police routinely subpoena a year's worth of communications for a suspect accused of petty crimes, but they are only interested in 15 days worth of communications in the most high-profile murder of the last 60 years. Total BS. Good point. That's a good point. I've picked up on many issues with the official story going through these transcripts, but I had to get this one off my chest because it had been bugging me for months. All right, so let's take a look at this, guys. Fucking the white with the black is killing my eyes. Okay. The southeast bedroom would be Tyler's, and then the southwest would be the spare bedroom. And oh, whoa, guys, this is, you know what, guys, this should be one of these moments where you're like, this is one of the reasons I watch Dark Match Steve's stream. This is interesting right here, guys. This is the point. Are we locked in right now? Are you paying attention to what's going on? There is another room in the house. We here at Dark Times with Dark Mad Steve, we're speculating about Tyler not being the one who's solely responsible for this, probably not very involved in this at all. May have just been a distraction. Like, may have thought he was just supposed to be a distraction. I don't know. But we've been thinking about possibly Lance Twiggs being the one that set him up or had more to blame. Oh, I can't zoom in. Here we go. But look, they're talking about where they found the evidence. So look at this. Coming up the stairs, if you turn left up the stairs, you're going to run into 2 bedrooms, and that is the south end of that residence. The southeast bedroom would be Tyler's, and then the southwest would be the spare bedroom. So it goes down here. Question. And where were these items here in 23 found? So they're talking about evidence that was found. These were found on the southwest or in the southwest bedroom, the one next to Tyler's bedroom. Guys, these weren't even, they're talking about the evidence. Some of it was at least some portion of it. They're saying the bullets. We'll go back through. Hold on. Okay. So down here, some of this evidence was found in the other bedroom, guys. This is fucking crazy. Exhibit 23 are the 5. Okay, so that's what they're talking. In 23, that's Exhibit 23. That's what they're referring to there. So are the Exhibit 23 are the 5 cartridge casings we found on the top of the safe. All 3 were 30-06 Springfield caliber, and one of them had an engraving that said "test shot" on it. You've talked about the Springfield Remington. These 30-06? Are they the same type of round as was found in the gun? They answered yes. Dude, this is significant. Man, it is such a shame. It's honestly, I don't know how this could have gone any other way with like less animosity, but it's a shame that there's not more communication and people like Andrew Wilson and they've got their heels so dug in. Because this very much so complicates things. Scott said, I didn't see the last 15 minutes. Kenny said, that was the best part. Yeah. No, so Scott, basically what we're getting at, Jesse on Fire, we'll hop back over to it, but we've been speculating about what Tyler, I just went on a rant about this. It would be wrong. Tyler may have been involved, but my speculation kind of at this point, I am kind of thinking that Tyler was supposed to be a distraction. Like the old bald dude who I've forgot his name, even though I already said it once during this stream. Oddly enough, I've been hitting the bong too much. Wait, well, no, this is my first bong. I should do a bong hit counter. That's what I need to change that to, bong hit counter. Because I barely get through one bong during a stream, guys, But anyway, George Zinn, that's his name. Sorry. It came to me. So I got to take another hit. That shouldn't come to me like that so easy. I don't like that. So a rip counter, yes. George Zinn was possibly a distraction. He acted as one. I don't know if he was a distraction that was part of a larger scheme, but he was a distraction. He distracted that they thought they had the guy at that point. Spectators thought they did. The police thought they did. They thought they had the guy. And they even found that gun holster in the grass and stuff. There was confusion at first. And maybe Tyler Robinson was supposed to be a distraction. George Zimmerman. Yeah, him too. And so, right, if fucking he went to jail, but he was just supposed to be a distraction, but maybe he doesn't want to admit that he was a part of something. Dude, that right there would almost, that kind of makes sense of stuff where he might be, hoping that he can get out of this without admitting that he was a part of anything. Because if he admits he was a part of something, I mean, he still gets in some trouble, right? Even if he was just supposed to be a distraction. I don't know. But what we're getting into, Scott, is that there was a third person. There was a roommate, another roommate, and some of the evidence, according to the court documents we're looking at right here, some of the evidence that is referred to, the bullet casings and I think some other stuff. Let me scroll back up here. This stuff was found in a separate room. It's not Tyler's room. Going to the scripts, I figured this out. It's because nearly all of the actual evidence against Tyler had been collected from the roommate's room, not Tyler's. So right here in the transcripts, it says the stuff was found in the southwest bedroom, the one right next to Tyler's bedroom. That's Exhibit 23. All the stuff in Exhibit 23 was found in the room next to Tyler's bedroom, not Tyler's bedroom. And it's interesting when you pair that with Jesse on fire. Hold on a second. Let me pull this clip back up. We got through the Candace deal. Let me scroll back down here. Where'd it go? Damn you. Here we go. I'm going to have to refresh this. I'm just doing this for you, Scotty, so you know what we're getting into here. Sky Valdez.
Sky Valdez has a drawing of a shooter on the roof 3 weeks prior to a shooter on the roof killing Charlie Kirk, and a song that says Charlie Kirk dead at 31, which was posted basically at the same time. If you could put Sky Valdez with Lance Twiggs, that would be a headshot, wouldn't it? Ooh, how about that, dude? How about Sky, September 18th? Haven't seen you in a game for a whole week. Where have you been? In his Steam server.
So we have this Sky Valdez person who did some kind of song, Charlie Kirk dead at 31, and was posting art about that looked like a shooter on a roof or something like that. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff going on here. And then we've got in the transcripts talking about a separate bedroom that all of this evidence was found in. And this person in this tweet is speculating that it was actually Lance Twiggs was probably supposed to be the person that this was going to initially be laid on. Let's go to the Turkey Tom thing because that's what they're talking about. Let's see if we can find this. Okay. Well, I'll hop over to Twitter here. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me see here. Is he not on Twitter? Yeah, the Turkey Tom text. Okay. All right, I think I might have to go to YouTube. I don't know if he's even on Twitter. I'm not seeing a hold on. The Discord logs. This is 8 days ago. Is Turkey Tom's source a Fed? Oh my God. Baron Coleman. Okay. Let's look at Baron Coleman's video. It's shorter. Maybe he will add some context and just keep it shorter. I'll get you guys over here. Hold on a second. You got to watch these ads with me.
When kids start making money.
Hey guys, Turkey Tom is back in the news, and you know what that means. We're taking you all the way back to episode 8 of the Real Baron podcast. That's where we first discovered Turkey Tom and asked the question, was Turkey Tom's source a Fed?
So what, Steve? What? So what? What are you talking about? What's funny? Steam has a whole data center, yeah.
I mean, this was one of the most high-profile public figures to be taken down in public in decades. And the opposition's fierce. And I would add that fierce opposition to something like this is not organic. It's just not organic. But if somebody approaches you and says, hey, I've got inside information on probably one of the most famous crimes that take place in this country in the last 5 years.
Okay, so guys, what I'm going to do, just to make sure that I don't want to miss this, I want to show you guys what I found with the car, okay? I don't want to miss that because I don't know if we're going to revisit this topic this week. But Turkey Tom got in some hot water. Turkey Tom got boiled, yeah. I want to show you guys the car thing. So I'm going to let this play for just a minute. I'm going to pull up the car deal and we're going to go to that and then we're going to finish this video.
Years minimum. One of the most famous assassinations take place in this country in probably 30 or 40 years. I got to get this information to the public. Who should I go to? If you don't know what the Turkey Tom video is, I'm going to give you the background as we go. So do not feel like you're going to be lost. We are going to get right into some trends searches very quickly, and we're going to apply boatloads of common sense to try to figure out why would someone approach Turkey Tom to try to convince a guy with 1.5 million followers that this absolutely is consistent with Tyler's and Lance's relationship and that Tyler almost assuredly did this. Who would have the motivation to do that? Because that's what this whole video seems to be about to me. So let's jump in.
Then I received a message. This message was from a third party who was close to both of them and remained in contact for 6 years up until the attack took place. They reached out to me, providing never before seen information on the lead up to what happened.
Turkey Tom makes a video and somebody reaches out to him and says, hey, I got some additional information for you. I've got some never before seen Discord footage. I've got some archives that you just absolutely would never believe. That's the kind of thing that would lead somebody to be, I don't know.
Okay, guys. So not to be too ADHD here, I'm sorry, but let's hop over here real quick just to make sure, because it's getting late. I'm already like 2 hours in, and I, because Scott didn't go on tonight, I went on a little earlier, and the way I have my life scheduled, I can't be on really past 10 o'clock. Hopefully I was wanting to be off by now. So let's hop over here just to make sure we can get to this. Now, I don't know if I'm beating a dead horse here. Might be the case, but I'd be remiss if I did not show you guys this, because I went through the time to look this up myself. And, this is what I'm talking about. This is one of the cases where I'm referring to, where I try to just have an open, honest conversation with the proponents of the Fed slop theory. And, it's odd how often it either digresses into them being insulting and then me calling them the R word and, as creative a way as I can think up. It either digresses into that or they don't reply. Right? They just stop talking to you. And listen, people got stuff to do. Some people aren't as autistic as me, where if someone replies to you on Twitter, you feel obligated to reply back, even if it's like a day or two later. But at least to show that you're not running from the argument, that's how I sort of operate in a way. Unless I think someone is just completely full of shit, trolling or whatever, then whatever. But clearly, I'm not trolling in what I'm about to show you here. So let me get rid of this banner just so we can see everything a little bit better. Hold on. Okay. All right. So this is a post that came up, and I just, this is me going along. I'm really trying to look at things and just, weigh the evidence, what we're seeing. And yes, the camera footage, guys, and again, goes to Tim Dillon's point. I don't know what the point of these cameras were. The security cameras at UVU, not only can you not make out someone's face, okay, they're not good enough to make out someone's face. They're also not good enough to make out someone's license plate or to clearly be able to match one car to the other, to the one car to the exact same car. Okay. I don't know what the point of these cameras are. I don't know what company this is. I don't know who installed these. I don't understand. And it's just, it's another, this is a more, conspicuous thing, but it's like, it's another straw on the camel's back here where you go, really, like, it's just so suspicious how shitty some of this evidence is. And what is the point of these cameras? It seriously does not make sense that there's security cameras that aren't clear enough to make out a license plate. Is that what this is the evidence? This is the mountainous evidence the prosecution said that they had is blurry footage from security cameras that someone had apparently gone up and spit on them before his car drove by. So you can't see anything. They went up to every camera and spit on them so you can't see anything. So that's what we're working with here, guys. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm just looking around at stuff. This is one of the things that has come up. So let's take a look at this. What are we looking at here? So on the left, you are seeing Tyler Robinson's car being towed, okay? It's being towed away on a wrecker as evidence. All right, on the right, what we're looking at is alleged to be Tyler Robinson's vehicle. Okay. And it's in the parking garage. Again, this is the security footage from in the parking garage at UVU. So what we're looking at here, and there's been a lot of confusion, but he's got two exhaust pipes. Okay. So and I'm not a car person, but, even I could sort of tell what the confusion was, where people are comparing pictures. The conspiracy people are going, look at the two cars. He's got the dual exhaust pipes. Okay. Now, when you say that, some people don't understand what's being said. And I wasn't entirely sure until I really looked this up myself. And this is why I was stressing the other night, where it's like, it gets interesting when I start to actually kind of look into stuff myself, because a lot of us, and sometimes, guys, I work, I can't spend all day looking through court records myself and everything. Some of what we're doing on here is I'm highlighting some stuff. We're looking at some theories going around and weighing what other people are spotting and putting on Twitter and stuff. But sometimes when you look for stuff yourself, you find stuff that no one else is talking about and, whatever. So here we are. When they say dual exhaust, the conspiracy people go, they're dual exhaust in one picture and singles in the other. Now, some of the fucking, the Fed slot people go, no, they're both dual exhaust. See, he's got dual exhaust, meaning two exhaust pipes, one on this side, one on this side. And he's got one on this side, one on this side. You fucking Candace fans are crackheads. Look, and here, I didn't even realize I actually got this. This is an example of this in this post. Looks like two mufflers to me. Where did these clowns come up with this stuff? So that's exactly what this person is replying. This is an exact example of what I'm saying here. This person is a Fed slop proponent, and they're saying, why are people so confused with the car? They're saying it's a dual exhaust. Look, this car has two and this car has two. So they're both dual. Well, no. That's not what we're talking about. Or not we. But that's not what people are pointing out. What they're saying is the exhaust pipes are different. Look, This exhaust, if you look at the other pictures, this isn't even the best, but you can see there's a hole here and a hole here. And you can even see that it's like rounded like that. Like it's two separate exhaust pipes and two separate ones, but they're just like right together. And then look at this picture. We can zoom in. Look at this. What do we have here, guys? What are we looking at? Does that look like dual exhaust pipes? That looks like a single hole, but it's wide like this. So so I was like, that's it. I think people are getting confused. So I scroll down. I'm like, I understand where people are getting confused. So look at this person. This person goes to clarify. They said, they, meaning the conspiracy people, the Candace fans, they are actually talking about quad versus dual tips. Pick below. They are still wrong. Okay, so they're showing here quad versus dual. So the what this guy is claiming here, and I hope this isn't too long-winded, but I'm actually that is technically dual exhaust. Well, so I'm gonna show you here. We're getting to it, butter knives. This what we're looking at here. This person showed. They're going, okay, single exhaust, single angled exhaust, dual angled. So there he's showing. Look, it's they're talking about quad versus dual tip. Pick below. They're still wrong because he's saying, look, if they think it's two of the single exhausts, then it wouldn't be like this. There wouldn't be this oval shape. And this picture, I think what they're claiming is that it's just the camera being kind of shitty and giving the illusion that there's two holes here and just one hole here. That's what I think these people are actually claiming. And he's showing here, well, they're still wrong because this is what a single exhaust looks like. And then I replied with this. I went and did my own research, guys. Look at this. Down here, I replied, and you can see I got no reply to this at all. I didn't call them a retard. Let's check out what I said. They do sell single exhaust tip with a single hole recessed in a rectangle. Just curious how you think they are still wrong. I'm not sure if he was there in his car or not, but I'm intrigued. That is about as tame as I could possibly be. Especially with someone kind of like, I mean, guys, this is a little bit arrogant to me. I mean, when if I'm going to be arrogant about something, I like to add a little bit of humor to, especially self-deprecating stuff, to show that I don't really know that I'm right, but I have a strong hunch. This is, I mean, they're still wrong. This is, I don't know, this is a little arrogant. This is someone who has no clue what they're talking about. These clowns. No one responded to me. So, guys, let's take a look at the pictures again. Let's take a look at, what does this look like here, guys? This looks like two holes right next to each other, right? It looks like this one. Looks like one of these. The two holes that it looks like two exhaust pipes that are just shoved right next to each other. That's what the picture on the right, that's what this looks like. What does the picture on the left look like? Kind of looks different, huh, guys? And this is the thing is, I was thinking this could just be some anomaly and the picture of the car getting towed away because of the lighting, maybe, I don't know. It's just giving the illusion that it's a rectangle with a single hole recessed down in it, but really it's the two pipes together, because I didn't know what kind of pipes they sell. So I went and Googled it, guys. I went and Googled it, and does that not look exactly like this? Tell me that that is not what is on the back of his car that's getting towed away. Did I just solve the car thing? I'm so serious, guys. I like what do we think? Is that someone said that's a different car. Different cars for sure. Dude, I don't know, but the exhaust pipes do not look the same. And now I am more convinced than ever that these exhaust pipes are different because I fucking went and found this myself. Because I have no idea. Guys, I'm not a car person. I have no idea what the fuck is out there, especially for a Dodge Challenger. I would never fucking drive one of those. I don't give a fuck what I drive. I drive a fucking Corolla. I clearly don't give a fuck about what I drive. But guys, is that not what we're looking at in this picture? This is the dual exhaust pipe with the two pipes together. This is the one that I found on eBay. It's a rectangle with the hole recessed that actually goes to the real exhaust pipe that it connects to. Dude, I don't know. I mean, I'm not enough of a car person to even say that I know I'm for sure right on this, but I think that I think I found something there. So anyway, guys, I wanted to make sure I showed you that. Butter Knives, what do you think? Is that the thinking face? Dude, I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. I'm intrigued by that. The fact that I went and found that and then no one would respond to it. Guys, the person that put this initial thing saying so-and-so are clowns for thinking it's a different car, this person didn't do as much research as I did into this. It took one Google search, guys, one search, and this popped up as a eBay option for purchase. You know, guys, this is what I'm talking about when I go on. And again, this doesn't tell us what a jury's going to think. This doesn't tell us what a judge is going to think. But I'm intrigued. This is a thing that makes me feel a little more confident, not in the fact that Tyler's going to be found innocent, but in the fact that we are right, or at least thinking more clearly about this, because I mean, I don't know. They're different colors. Yeah, I'm not saying this is the exact one. I'm there, Maddie. I'm sure they sell a black one, or gray, or whatever color. I'm saying this is the shape. This they sell what I thought was an illusion because of the lighting is not. This is a style of exhaust pipe sold for a Dodge Challenger. And that's what it looks like on his car, a hole that's recessed inside of a rectangle. Of course, this isn't the color. I'm not saying this is the right color. But it's, you can probably get them in any color. Who's claiming they're the same vehicle? Literally everyone that is saying Tyler is guilty. It sounds ridiculous, right? Yeah, because that's not the same exhaust pipe. It's not, guys. It's not. Look at this. It's not. Give me a break. No. Don't play with me. I've seen enough. I rest my case, Your Honor. Cars aren't trans. Maybe he used that's what they're saying. Maybe he used the screwdriver, changed the front bumper and the exhaust pipes. I'm not sure, guys. I'm just extremely intrigued. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I showed you guys that because that's the one thing that I found on my own when I was looking around. Let's go back to this and see what the fuck we're getting into.
Intrigued at the very least, right? Hey, I want to go back. At 50 seconds in that video, there was a username that popped up. I'm going to pull it back up in just a second. At 50 seconds, there was a username that popped up. It was Lancelotto. I want you to watch what I'm about to do because this is the type of research. People have knocked what I've been doing, but this is the type of research that people should be doing in order to determine if the person they're talking to is a dadgum fed. Now, look, that's Lancelotto. Lancelot. That's SLANC, whatever. That's his Discord name there. Now, watch. What happens when we look him up? This is the type of stuff that's at least concerning to me. This is the District of Columbia right here. Hey, we at least have something going on, right? We at least have something going on. This guy's Discord name or his TikTok name has shown up for some reason there. Now, is that definitive? No. And that's kind of been the thing that most people have keyed in on with what I've done. Everybody says, oh, well, if you show that the District of Columbia search, you're saying some FBI guy was doing it. No, I'm not saying that at all. But I do want to remind you.
Whoa, guys, should we check my name for District of Columbia? We know they removed my name from the Israel search. Guys, I can't believe. Listen, my phone's dead. I got to charge this. Hold on. Let me plug this in. I I have to figure out. I'm actually, guys, I am concerned that my Google trend in Israel got removed, and I want to be able to prove that it was real. I think I wanted to show. I was thinking the way I could do that. Maybe show the metadata or something. I could at least show that if I click revert on, when you go to edit a photo to crop it or whatever, to change the angle, crop it, or draw on it or anything. If you go to do that and then click revert, it'll bring it back to the original. I could at least show you that when I do that on my phone, that all it would, the only thing that would change would be the way it's cropped and the fact that I scribbled out my real last name from one of the things. But it's driving me crazy that they removed that. That is honestly terrifying. It was scary enough that I got Googled there multiple times and multiple names. That's concerning enough. But then the fact that I posted about it and then it got removed, I don't like that at all. Should we search up District of Columbia?
It's not just Lancelotto. Lance Twiggs. That's a weird name. Most people, when they heard that name, thought it was some kind of furry cosplay name. Lance Twiggs, District of Columbia. Started coming on the radar in October of 2020, April of 2021. And you might think to yourself, well, that's a long time ago. He was a young guy. Yeah, he was a young guy. And I'm going to raise an issue later why I think he landed on the federal radar. It's hinted in this Turkey Tom video. About the time these guys started getting searched, this random guy who just cannot wait to share everything he knows with Turkey Tom, not with NBC, not with MSNBC, not with CNN, not with Fox, not with the New York Times, not with the Washington Post, not with NPR, not with PBS, but with Turkey Tom. No offense to Turkey Tom. I'm sure he's great. His video is really well done. And I watched several other videos on his channel. Great guy. But if somebody approaches you and says, hey, I've got inside information on probably one of the most famous crimes that take place in this country in the last 5 years minimum, one of the most famous assassinations take place in this country in probably 30 or 40 years. I got to get this information to the public. Who should I go to? Should I go to a Pulitzer Prize winner at the New York Times? No. I'm going to Turkey Tom. Turkey Tom is where I'm headed. I'm all in favor of it. I like Turkey Tom. I'm just telling you that's a little unusual. Turkey Tom might not ask the same verification questions that a high-end newspaper reporter might ask, for example, or a high-end reporter from any variety. So who is this person? Who is this person? How does Turkey Tom verify? How does he validate here? I want you to watch from this point forward for about 30 seconds. How does he validate who he's talking to?
Some of this video is my opinion and should be treated as such, but I've done my best to provide you all with the information I'm able to share to the extent it can be verified. In his first message to me, this person said, hello, I just watched your video on the Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler and thought you did a good job. I happen to know Tyler and Lance in real life. I don't take a lot of pictures, so I can't prove it very well, but I am in Discord servers where both of them are.
Guys, let's just put yourself in the shoes of a Fed. Where would you interact with weirdos? You want to interact with weirdos? You want to reach out to weirdos? Where do you find them? Do you go to the local Latin mass? Probably not. Not a lot of weirdos. Do you go to, I don't know, do you go to the public library in the nonfiction section? Probably not. Do you go to Discord? Yeah. Weirdos galore, dude. Weirdos galore in the Discord servers. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone who's ever been in a Discord server is a weirdo. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, good news, guys. I did not pop up as trending in District of Columbia ever. In the last 5 years. Should I go back further? Okay, let's go back further. But yeah, past 5 years, not on their radar. Cool.
But I'm saying they're there. They're there. This guy spends 6 years in a Discord server with these guys. 3 different Discord servers we find out. And while he goes to their house, he doesn't like to take a lot of pictures. We'll see the pictures he does take in a minute. Notice there's no one in it. It's almost like the pictures were taken after the house was raided. That's kind of what it looked like to me. Because for a guy who doesn't take a lot of pictures, you know one of the things he did? You'll find this out. One of the things he did was go and get Lance Twiggs' journal and open it up and go page by page through Lance Twiggs' journal. I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have been to a friend's house? How many of you have gone to your friend's house, gotten their journal, and taken pictures of every page? Honest question. If you've done it, call your friend and apologize. Go to confession and don't do it again. Don't do it again. Stop it. The first thing I do when I go to your house, you better, this poor guy. And I like Turkey Tom. Like I said, I like Turkey Tom. But that's the type of person he's dealing with. Now, for verification, he says he has 3 Discord servers, archives of 3 Discord servers. Again, could be an honest, furry, femboy, Magic the Gathering player who just happens to be into Turkey Tom, who happens to watch some right-wing podcasting.
So this is, I was searching my stuff up on the other tab. This is supposed to be some random person that reached out to Turkey Tom saying that they knew Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson and gave them pictures, give Turkey Tom pictures of the inside of Tyler's journal. Or wait, hold on. Whose journal? Tyler or Lance's?
Oh, and get Lance Twiggs' journal and open
Lance Twiggs' journal. Wow, guys, I'm so good. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? I'm locked in right now. Can't believe that worked.
Watch some right-wing podcasting from time to time.
Yeah, so Lance Twiggs this is what the person on that Twitter post was talking about, that they thought Lance Twiggs was possibly supposed to be the original patsy for this, and it ended up being Tyler. This person they gave Turkey Tom all these pictures of Lance Twiggs's diary. And they're saying, oh, that's weird. Why would a random friend have all these pictures? Well, it was the roommate. They're saying this was the roommate, or people are speculating this is the roommate that lived with them, and that's why they had the pictures. And that's weird when you pair that with the fact that the evidence was found in the spare bedroom. What you could consider to be the roommate's bedroom. It wasn't in Tyler's bedroom.
I really like it. Could be. Could also be a Fed who's trying to plant a story in right-wing podcasting to undermine this current of opposition to the idea that Tyler Robinson somehow is not the guy. Not the guy. He didn't not that I can tell from the video. Didn't ask for photo ID. I don't know that he voice verified. I don't know that he asked a lot of questions. I'm only going by what he put in his video. But that's it. That's it. That's the sum total way. Now, what did he learn from this anonymous guy? One thing he learned was he had a messy living space. Guys, they're in their early 20s. They're in their early 20s. Listen to this. In a messy living space.
Proceeded to tell me about the state of Tyler and Lance's living space. The apartment would drastically shift from clean to super dirty, depending on the state of Lance's mood. I don't have too many pictures of most of the mess, but
of course you don't have too many pictures. You don't take pictures unless it's somebody's personal journal. I don't have too many pictures, but I do have pictures of every page of his personal journal. But you're just gonna have to trust me, bro. That's what comes back to over and over and over. You just have to trust me, bro. The house was a wreck. You gotta trust me, bro. I wish I still had pictures, but I felt sort of guilty and deleted them since I knew Lance wasn't in the right state of mind. Bro, you took pictures of his personal journal. You felt guilty for taking pictures of his Doritos wrappers, but you took pictures of his personal journal. Now, where have you ever seen before such high quality pictures of personal journals? Honestly, have you ever seen the manifestos they take from these mass shooters? The pictures look the same. We'll get to them in a minute, but the pictures look the same. They're like high quality images, like a drone shot. Go look up the Nashville shooter manifesto. What was the Covenant shooter manifesto? Audrey Hale. Pictures look the same. The pictures look identical. It's like the same cameraman did it. Felt bad about taking pictures of his Doritos wrappers, but didn't at all feel bad about taking his journal pictures. Now, keep in mind, it's the journal of Lance. Lance hasn't been charged with anything. It's not like he took Tyler's journal and took pictures of it. I mean, that would still, among bros, that'd still be a huge violation. But it's Lance's journal. Where's Lance? Lance in prison? Lance in jail? If you're going to take pictures of the journal, make sure it's the guilty guy, or the guy that everyone's saying is guilty. Listen to the date here. Listen to the date of when he lays down kind of a marker, when all this started.
one can derive psychosis and mania from first principles. This is definitely up there. Now, in my original video about this topic, I mentioned that there were two specific periods of change for Lance and Tyler by extension. The first was 2020, when the pandemic hit, locking everyone inside their houses and apartments, and therefore driving them to spend a lot more time on the old computer. And as the Discord logs are going to show later, it's probably when Lance and Tyler started to communicate the most frequently, even if they were already gaming and talking prior. The second period was during 2024, which is when Tyler moved into the apartment with Lance. And as their anonymous peer here is saying, within 2 weeks of Tyler being there, Lance began his nest phase, as he puts it.
Okay, so we've got two periods of time we're looking at. 2020 and 2024. Why is that important? Because if you watch the rest of the video, the vast majority of the Discord texts, the Discord messages that the anonymous, I'll just call him Anon here, the Anon sends to Turkey Tom were from 2020. There were a few from 2023 and 2024, and then very few from this year in close to and right after what happened to Charlie Kirk. Very few. But the vast majority of them were from 2020. And what he's saying is there's this initial phase where Lance is sort of going through it, and Tyler's still pretty normal. Why would I'm trying to determine if I want to give away the game or not, because there's a line in here that tells me why the FBI got so involved and all, or why some Fed got so involved and why this is all coming out now and how they ended up getting compromised. Remember a couple episodes ago we talked about how people become patsies and why they become patsies, willingly become patsies, because it's better to go to prison for shooting someone than going to prison for being a pedophile. That's an economy. That's an economic decision. What kind of life do you want to live? Look at that. I'd sometimes just talk with him for like 4 hours of him just ranting about his mom and family. He really hates Mormons. I'm not sure why that's in there. Also at the time politically, Lance and I would both probably describe ourselves as libertarian, and Tyler was very apolitical. I would talk with him for like 4 hours. So So this gives you the idea that whoever this is talking has really gotten into this group. I don't know too many people I talk to for 4 hours. I don't know too many people that would want to talk to me for 4 hours. I don't know too many people who live in my house who want to talk to me for 4 hours. I'm just putting that out there. Now I want to get to these series of pics. You've got to see these. Remember, this is the guy who deleted pictures of Dorito wrappers because he felt guilty. This is the guy who took pictures of the Dorito wrapper and deleted them because he felt guilty. But he's got no problem at all showing you what I'm about to show you that he showed you. But you got to watch this.
It's at this point that our leaker here sent an extensive set of pictures he'd taken of the state of the apartment and the notes Lance left around. First is an image of their magic table, completely vandalized with garbage that mostly resembles electrical stuff, which is odd.
Tell me that doesn't look like a picture from the when the police went in there and raided it. Like there's no people around. There's no people around. There's this like you almost expect to see like a 1 or a 2 little table tent over there.
Because Tyler was the one in an electrical apprenticeship program, not Lance. In the background, we can see what looks to be some kind of aquarium or big glass container with a rock.
Would you ever take this picture of a friend of yours house? Would you ever take this picture?
In it, which may be the mold experiments mentioned in the messages. Underneath it is what looks to be a package for a rock tumbler, which makes sense given that Tyler occasionally did masonry with his dad. But it's when we move to what's actually on the table that
Ooh, a rock tumbler, guys. I want one of those. Tumble my Uper lights, get them all smoothed out.
things get increasingly bizarre. And we have isolated pictures of all of the particularly interesting items. It contains a set of spiral-like scribbles that may be disconnected attempts at making the Glock logo, given the squared spiral G and the word lock near it. Right above this, there's also what looks to be the small phrase E equals T, and elsewhere on the note, I can also make out the words regent and temp, although I have no idea if this is alluding to anything.
Look at this, bro. I mean, yeah, he looks crazy. Let's be honest. Hey, among friends, let's be honest. But who takes those pictures? Who takes those pictures? That looks like the pictures, the images of every serial killer slash mass murderer slash active shooter I've ever seen. That looks like that they all have these notebooks at home somewhere, which I'm shocked people still use paper. If you challenge me right now, go get a pen and a piece of paper.
Terrible-ist. Huh. Stop looking for others. What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm so shocked that, like, once you decide you're going into the mass shooting business, all of a sudden.
Huh. Huh. I think that's just a weird schizo. I was I was wondering if this if this was like German, because ist, I think ist is like well, hold on, I was looking up if the word, because I think that's just it's an English play on words. Ableist, like a ableist, terrible ableist. Yeah. But yeah, no, tear and able aren't German words, so that yeah, promo code said ist equals is, yeah. Das ist gut. But I was seeing if able or tear was German. I was just ruling that out. But no, it looks like an English play on words.
You got to get some notebooks, right? And some pens. Who doesn't use notes? Use your phone. Anyway. So just assume there's all kinds of these pictures, dozens of these pictures of the guy's notebook. Now I want to go to where he calls him a handler. That's very unusual language for a Magic the Gathering Anon to use. But I want to go to this here. He calls him a handler right there. We all thought Lance would be okay because he had Tyler, who was basically his handler at this point to take care of him. Have you ever called your friend's boyfriend or girlfriend a handler? I never have. I've never called anyone a handler. That's weird to me. That's just weird language. So I'm going to let it play. You just listen. And you tell me if this isn't a Fed. This is the second most important Fed speak in this entire documentary that he put together.
And literally the next day, he was in call just chatting with people while playing his puzzle games. And also for the record, Tyler 100% calls Lance my love when they are talking alone.
Hey, come on. You guys need to get off this fake text stuff. Just move off that point, boys and girls. Come on. Just move off that point. We don't need to be talking about this. I'm telling you right now, they said my love. That's what they said. 100%. They said my love. Come on. That right there, when I saw...
True. Sketchy. Bro, that's the handler. That's the handler that's fucking texting Turkey Tom. All right, guys. There's no going back. I X'd out all the tabs. Ow! I just hit my elbow. That was more believable than Erika Kirk right there. Okay. This has been Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking around. I know it was a long, drawn-out one where you had a lot of stuff to get to. So yeah, the rest of this week, I got a bunch of different stuff saved to possibly get to. But yeah, we'll see about tomorrow. I should be on around 8 p.m. Eastern time. I guess Bubba mentioned the weekly wrap-up show today that he in a fleeting way mentioned the wrap-up show, and he said that they got some kind of good response from it. I'm sure he got a bad response from it too, and I appreciate him not highlighting that. No, I'm kidding. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know if Lum wants. He might be getting somebody else for this Friday. He hasn't mentioned it to me, and I work Fridays, so I don't know. My boss is actually currently out of town too, so that complicates things for me. I don't know if they're gonna have me on this Friday. So yeah, whatever. But anyway, we'll see about that. What are we doing tomorrow? I'll be on 8 p.m. Eastern time. What do we got? Scott Starbird should be on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time if they don't overwork him at his job. And then Stein over on the Real American Voice channel at 11 p.m. Eastern time. And also tomorrow, Bubba in the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. So yeah, I'll see you guys up in those chats and all that. I love you. Take care. Thank you for the support. Mwah.